Be bright and early, about 6:05 for the Gospel Hour. Now stay tuned. We'll get you informed. You'll be the best informed audience around here, too, by staying tuned right here.
AM 590 WCAB Rutherfordton with FM translator service on W265 DW at 100.9. ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. It could be doled out within days. An independent committee with the FDA set to meet tomorrow to review the Pfizer vaccine. On Tuesday, they issued a report ahead of the meeting. ABC's Ann Flaherty.
It's the first time we've ever heard from the government scientists who've been spending weeks now looking at this data coming out of Pfizer on the vaccine. And essentially what they said was it hits the mark. We think it's safe. We think it's effective. It's not the authorization that we're all looking for, that authorization that's going to trigger that distribution to the states, but it does say that they don't see any showstoppers. That's a big deal going into this really critical meeting that we have on Thursday.
National health regulators in the UK say people with a history of serious allergic reactions should not get Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. The announcement coming as two people who had a history of such reactions responded adversely to their shots. Doctors say both are recovering well. All of this coming as COVID cases increase once again. Dr. Barbara Ferrer is in Los Angeles, where of the more than 3,000 people hospitalized with COVID, a quarter of them are in the ICU.
We do hope that this new stay-at-home order gives us an opportunity to place a pause on all non-essential activities that increase the risk of transmitting the virus so that we're able to get the surge under control.
The Supreme Court denying a request from Pennsylvania Republicans to throw out 2.5 million valid mail-in ballots. Now Texas is suing 4 battleground states, claiming their elections were faulty. University of Texas political science professor Don Kettle doesn't think it'll fly.
We don't like people messing with Texas, and other states are not going to like having Texas mess with them. The states are responsible for running the ways in which votes happen in each of their jurisdictions.
The House has overwhelmingly passed a defense policy bill. President Trump, though, has threatened to veto it because it doesn't clamp down on social media companies he claims were biased against him during the election. You're listening to ABC News.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I think for older people, I think they really need to understand that this product will give you the energy that you need to sustain throughout a day. Right now, I just can't hardly make it through the day if I don't start my day out taking 3 of each every day. Yeah, I'm a flag waver for the product. I believe in it. I know it's helping me. I feel more satisfied that I've got my energy level for the day. And, you know, for the last 2 weeks, I've been working over at my mom's house to get it ready to sell. It's just unbelievable. I guarantee you, if you saw me compared to the rest of the guys that are 74, you think them boys is ready for the couch. And I'm going strong all day long and have been for quite some time now.
Balance of Nature is now offering 35% off on any new preferred order. Go to balanceofnature.com today and use discount code FRUITS.
Democrats on Capitol Hill rejecting a coronavirus stimulus package proposed by the White House. It includes another round of payments to Americans, but also cuts back on unemployment benefits. Several reports now say dozens of attorneys general, along with the federal government, plan to file antitrust lawsuits against Facebook as soon as today. Anger after an African-American man named Casey Goodson was shot and killed by an Ohio sheriff's deputy. This is Tamala Payne speaking with ABC News. This is his mom.
What I believe in my heart happened is that my son was murdered in cold blood for being a black man.
Her son, 23 years old, was shot after police say Franklin County Sheriff's Deputy Jason Meade ordered him to drop what Meade thought was a gun. Goodson's family says it was a sandwich. ABC's Megan Terizian.
Meade, a 17-year veteran of the department, is on leave during the investigation. Deputies in that department do not wear body cameras. Casey Goodson's attorneys say even if their client was carrying a gun, he had a license to do so.
And water again invading Venice. St. Mark's Square under water after a high tide that was higher than expected, propelled by winds that were stronger than expected. Just over a year ago, you might remember those photos. Venice had the worst flooding in half a century, prompting the city to build an experimental inflatable barrier system. And officials plan on activating that today. This is ABC News.
Greg Kelly Reports is breaking records on Newsmax TV. President Trump was recently on, and millions tune into Newsmax every night. Greg asks the tough questions you want. Watch Greg Kelly at 7 p.m. Eastern or the rebroadcast. Newsmax is on all major cable systems and free on Roku, Zumo, YouTube, Pluto, and TVs like Samsung and LG. If your cable company doesn't carry Newsmax, call them and say you can switch if they don't carry it. Watch Newsmax today.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
You know, folks are saying once you've used a Massey Ferguson, you won't ever want another tractor. They're tough, versatile, and dependable. And now with the change of season special at NC Tractor and Farm Supply, you'll be wise to get your special deal. Our tractors have been running in families for generations. Ask about the Phil Sheehan Fall Special going on right now. NC Tractor, 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton. Call 288-0395.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday. We're starting off rather chilly with some frost around the area this morning. This afternoon, we'll see a mostly sunny sky as clouds move out. Highs today only in the low to mid-50s. Clear sky, not as cold tonight. We're in the mid to upper 30s Thursday morning. Mostly sunny sky, milder temperatures Thursday afternoon with highs in the upper 50s and near 60 in spots. The warming trend continues into Friday. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Well, it's a cool morning to start, but it's going to be warming up. If 56 is warm, that's pretty nice, I think. Right now it's 27 here, according to Peter, the meter reader. And every day this week's going to be kind of nice. I expect some rain maybe coming in here Saturday night, early Sunday morning, and maybe 20% chance on Sunday night. And it'll go away on Monday. So pretty winter-like days here as we get closer and closer to the start of winter. But good morning, everybody. Welcome to the second hour of the morning wake-up call right here on WCAB. So glad you're here. Thanks for letting me shake you awake in the mornings. Now I have these death announcements. Brenda Ann Murata, age 64, of Ellenboro, died Friday at her home. Services will be announced at a later time. The Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of those arrangements for Brenda Ann Murata. Mrs. Judy Brackett Hunt, 59, of Golden Valley, died Wednesday, December 9th. Those arrangements are also incomplete and will be announced by Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Services. Again, Mrs. Judy Brackett Hunt. Cindy Poteet Jolly, age 51, of Forest City, passed away Saturday at Spartanburg Regional Medical Center. A celebration of Cindy's life will be held at 3 o'clock Sunday, December 13th, at Grace Chapel. The family will receive friends from 6 until 8 on Thursday at the church. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with those arrangements for Cindy Poteet Jolly. David J. Atkins, David J. Atkins, age 74, of Forest City, passed away Saturday, December 5th, at Hospice House of the Carolina Foothills. The family will receive friends Thursday, December 10th, from 11 until 12 at McMahon's Funeral Home. The memorial service at McMahon's Chapel will be 12 noon Thursday, December 10th. The Rutherford County Honor Guard will render military rites for Mr. Atkins following the service on the grounds of the funeral home. McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Service in charge of the arrangements for David J. Atkins. Raleigh Sprout, age 90, died Monday, December 7th in Ellenboro. The graveside service will be held 3 o'clock today in the Corinth Baptist Church Cemetery. Those attending the graveside service are asked to observe social distancing and wear masks. The Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for Raleigh Malcolm Spratt. Junior Tony, age 81, of Forest City, passed away Thursday at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. No formal services will be conducted. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Service serving the family of Junior Tony. Roy M. Hutchins, age 65, of Rutherfordton, died December the 8th at Colonial Manor Healthcare in Rutherfordton. The funeral service will be private for the family at McMahon's Funeral Home Chapel. Burial will be at Piney Knob Baptist Church Cemetery. McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Service in charge of the arrangement for Roy M. Hutchins. Alice Herring, age 72, of Forest City, passed away Tuesday, December 8th at Henderson Care. The funeral service will be conducted 3 o'clock Saturday. with interim burial will follow in the Cool Springs Cemetery. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with the arrangements for Alice Herring. Helen Green, age 58, of Forest City, passed away Friday, December 4th at her residence. The funeral service will be conducted at 11 o'clock Thursday, December 10th, at the Caroline Congregational Holiness Church. The family will receive friends from 6 until 8 tonight at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with the arrangements for Helen Green. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. Complete information can be heard this morning at 11:35.
Are locking down businesses. Keith McIlarney, who owns a Staten Island bar, staying open in defiance of the shutdown. He's already been arrested twice. And not only is the government against him, so is Saturday Night Live. There's a little-known dumbass comedian on that show named Pete Davidson. He used his most recent SNL appearance to mock the bar owner and other people struggling to keep their businesses afloat. Now, this cruel humor at McIlarney's expense didn't go over well with him. McIlarney and his lawyer held a press conference to push back on the comedian for trying to humiliate people who are going broke while trying to make a living. They said maybe Saturday Night Live should try mocking the people who rioted and looted instead of the people out there working hard trying to make it all work. But Saturday Night Live liberals don't care a whit about this guy or his business or his problems. He's good for a laugh. He's a target to be impugned, and then his usefulness is over. Saturday Night Live doesn't have to worry about New York's shutdown. They got a COVID loophole to keep their live audience. That's showbiz. They don't care. This holiday season may feature more merriment with your devices than ever before as you stay connected with family and friends. That's before you take on all that online holiday shopping. All that online activity can mean more chances of exposing your personal information to bad guys. Now, before all that online shopping and communication takes place, make sure your online identity is protected. Don't spend the holidays without identity theft protection from LifeLock. It monitors for uses of your personal information without your permission. If you have a problem with identity theft, a U.S.-based LifeLock restoration specialist will work to fix it. Now, no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock can help you feel safer this holiday season and all year long. Save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com using the promo code RUSH. That's LifeLock.com, promo code RUSH to save 25%.
100.9 FM and 590 AM. Recommended by 3 out of 4 truck drivers. The fourth one? Well, he just stopped off for coffee.
Boy, you got great taste in music.
This is WCAB.
Pass it on. This time of upheaval is causing me to look a little deeper inside myself, looking for some goodness. And this is what I've found. I'm more aware of my neighbor's well-being. I'm saying thanks to those who help keep my life as normal as possible. My mail carrier, my grocery cashier, my delivery person. I find myself caring about others instead of just looking out for myself. And oh, my goodness, does it feel good. Goodness is in you. Pass it on. From passiton.com.
Good morning. Good morning.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers of Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. They continue to strive hard to keep that honor. Come on in and see for yourself. Take a look at the all-new design 2021 F-150 or reserve an all-new 2021 Bronco coming in the spring. Don't miss out on the automobile you've been wanting at the Sisk Family Ford price. Take your pick while the picking is good on Oak Street in Forest City.
Good morning. These are your headlines. Market declines, unemployment, oil prices. These can be pretty scary. Hi, I'm your Edward Jones financial advisor, Andrew Tisdale, and I'll work with you to help you understand the impact of these just short-term events and how it's not going to affect your long-term goals. We can provide the tools and the reasoned, disciplined approach on how to invest. So please, don't let these headlines derail your long-term financial strategy. Call us today, 828-287-9197. Our office is located in the Food Line Plaza in Rutherford. This was Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, and a member of the SIPC. Bye.
Camellia Sidney Fly, better known as C.S. Fly, was an adventurer, silver miner, and lawman, but he was best known as a photographer. On December 10, 1879, he and his wife moved to Early Tombstone, Arizona, where they built a boarding house with a photographic studio at street level. C.S. took pictures of anything that remained stationary for a short period of time. Cowboys, Tombstone residents, miners at work, picnics, parades, and fires. Unfortunately, there was one event that took place in Tombstone that C.S. failed to photograph, and that event was the OK Corral shootout. Now, it wasn't as if C.S. wasn't aware of it. It took place right outside his studio. Sheriff Behan hid out in the studio. Billy Claiborne and Ike Clanton, two of the cowboys, escaped through the studio. Maybe it was because he wasn't there. No, court records show that C.S. took a gun from the dying Billy Clanton right after the shootout. Okay, so maybe he didn't have time to set up his studio in advance, but there are no pictures of the scene following the shootout. But not only that, but weeks later, Morgan and Virgil Earp were shot from ambush, and C.S. Fly didn't take pictures of either of these events. Of the tens of thousands of pictures that C.S. Fly took, he missed the very ones that would have made him a household name to anyone interested in the Old West. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Well, here we are, Hump Day Wednesday, 9th day of December, 7:16. We go into the phones now to find out what's been happening in our county over the 24-hour period. And Deputy Searcy is on the phone with you now from the Sheriff's Department to give us that update. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Doing fine, thanks. Tell us what's been going on.
In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office reports 138 calls for service, 17 arrests have been made, and 160 incarcerated. Regarding incident reports, we have Rutherford County Sheriff's Office reports motor vehicle accident, commercial littering, Neil Wesley Hunt Jr., Robert Brian Enriquez reports breaking and entering felony and larceny after breaking and entering. Nathan Michael McInnes of Rutherford reports larceny of motor vehicle. Logan Hoyle Travis reports dog run at large at night. And regarding arrest reports, Stephen Maurice Murray of Rutherford was charged with extradition. Julian Maurice Miller of Rutherford charged with flee to elude arrest with motor vehicle. Assault with a deadly weapon against a government official. Assault with a deadly weapon. Possession of methamphetamine. Possession of marijuana. Possession of marijuana paraphernalia. Possession of drug paraphernalia. And resisting public officer. Brandy Brianne Laughlin of Mooresboro, charged with no operator's license and allow fictitious register plate. Jonathan David Pollock of Forest City, charged with misdemeanor larceny. Andrea Newton of Forest City, charged with failure to appear on misdemeanor. Nolan Andrew Blanton of Rutherford, charged with failure to appear on misdemeanor. Brent William Cook of Rutherford, charged with violation of domestic violence protection order. And that's all we have.
Deputy Searcy, I appreciate that very much. Thanks for the report. You be safe out there today.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Let's say good morning now to Marie, and she has a report for us from the Communications Center. Marie, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's on your report today, Marie?
Okay, in the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Department 911 Communications Center has processed 498 911 administrative calls, which consisted of 36 for EMS, 20 for rescue. For law enforcement, the Sheriff's Department had 138, Forest City had 72, Lake Lure had 5, Rutherford had 21, and Spindle had 51. For fire calls, Shingle Hollow responded to a residential fire alarm, and Sandy Mush responded to an industrial fire alarm, and that's all I have for the morning.
Thanks, Marie. You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Now we'll check to see how busy the SDO Fire District was overnight, and Ruby Taylor's on the phone to tell us. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's on the report from the SDO Fire District?
Well, the fire department didn't have any calls, and on my birthday calendar, I've got Craig Collins and Donnie Millwood having a birthday, and hope they have a nice day today, and the signs are in the range today and going to the secrets tomorrow. Jim, that's all I've got.
I appreciate it. You have a wonderful Wednesday.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. McCurry-Dake Motors has been providing the stylish Buick for families for generations. Come browse a new selection and you'll find the car that everybody's talking about. The family-owned dealership is deeply entrenched in our community. They understand the needs of the customers and will work with them to find the perfect car, truck, or crossover for their lives. Experience the new Buick at McCurry-Dake Motors. Take a look around the website to learn more about everything offered at McCurry-Dake Motors, 1740 U.S. Highway 74A, Forest City. Let's head up to one of our other beautiful spots in the county. That's up the Fairfield Mountains area and the Bills Creek community. And Gary Wilson is on the phone to give us the news from that part of our county. Good morning, Gary.
Hey, Jim. How you doing?
Doing well. You warm enough?
Trying to. It's getting a little harder to get warm this morning. Seems like about 25 degrees up here this morning. So it's a chilly start. Got a few clouds scattered around. That was a pretty sunrise this morning. I wish somebody took a picture of that or painted it one. That was pretty ones I've seen around here in a while.
I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, it looked really nice. And we're sitting, like I said, about 25, no rain or anything overnight. Bills Creek was out on a fire call early this morning, I think, assisting over in Polk County. I believe it was off Cooper's Gap Road. And they just got back in not too long ago. We've had no calls the last 24 hours, and got one announcement out at the Bills Creek Fire Department today at noon. The Red Cross will be having a blood drive, so I hope everybody will come by and do their annual donation of blood. And it's a good cause, and they're always needing blood these days. And that's about all we got up here this morning, Jim. Everything else going on pretty good.
And they tell me, too, Gary, those even folks who have had the COVID, once they've been cleared and have negative, they can still give blood even after the fact.
I think so, yeah. I believe they can.
So don't let that deter you and scare you off, folks. If you've had the COVID, go ahead and give some blood.
Yeah, go ahead and let them know that, and they'll check you out, and everything looks good. They'll put you right on through there.
That's right. All right, Gary, we do appreciate talking with you each morning. You have a great day up there, and be safe, and we'll see you next time.
All right, you too.
Thanks.
Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply has all of your deal hunting supplies, including Deluxe Mix, $34 for a 50-pound bag, Early Draw, $27 for 25 pounds. They also have Lucky Bug, a supply of deer apples, a new Strike Force automatic deer feeder, deer corn, and so much more. Refill your propane tanks for only $10.99 for the 20-pound tanks. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply is the largest farm and feed store in the area. Come see us at 188 Whitesides Road in Rutherfordton.
Henson Building Materials is returning to our regular days and hours to better serve the fast-growing building needs of the Forest City area. Our hours will be 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. We'll still be taking safety measures, cleaning, wearing masks, and social distancing, all while our friendly and knowledgeable staff will be taking your orders on a variety of building, remodeling, and DIY projects. With the combined experience of over 50 years, Jamie Earls, Terry Dunaway, and Randy Harrell in our 10,000 square foot showroom will get you in and out, loaded and back to your project, all with the flexibility in ordering. And while you're at it, visit our Homeworks by Henson showroom with our 2 designers for all of your kitchen and bath cabinet and countertop design needs. Time to get out, get busy, and visit Henson Building Materials. Building starts here.
Let's stop next up at the Hudlow Fire District. My friend Bob Hodge is on the phone to give us an update. Bob, good morning.
Well, good hump day morning.
Good, cool hump day morning, too, huh?
Yeah, it's a little frosty over here this morning there.
Yeah.
But we have a beautiful sunrise, though, coming up. It's bright red this morning, so I guess the old saying, red in the morning, sailor's warning, so...
Yeah, I wish I could see it. I can't see it from my vantage point here, so I'll have to see
Well,
some pictures later.
It looks like a forest fire or something there through the trees this morning. But it is pretty. And, Jim, things going along good up here this morning. We hadn't had any fire calls overnight, and so far it's been quiet this morning. Not too much going on. Everybody, I guess, out getting ready and looking for old Santa Claus here for too long. Better be good, because he'll be here for too long.
It sure will. I hope you're ready for him.
Well, I never get ready. I just quit.
I think that's good words of wisdom.
That's right. Well, Jim, that's about it up here this morning, and you have a good day over there.
Thanks, Bob. I do appreciate it. You too, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You know, when you want someone else to do the holiday cooking for you, Fat Tracy's can do that. When you want an apple-smoked sliced boneless ham to serve 7 or 8 people, Fat Tracy's can do that for you for only $49.95. When you want a delicious meal with 2 sides to feed 8 to 10 people, and you choose the side yourself, Fat Tracy's can do that. Place your order by December 19th, and you can pick it up on the 23rd of December. Now, isn't that easy? If you have family or guests coming over for Christmas dinner, Fat Tracy's can help you with that. Place your order at 287-5004. That's 287-5004 by December the 19th, and it'll be ready to be picked up on the 23rd. Ask about all the delicious desserts available, too. Fat Tracy's will be closed Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Will reopen on Saturday, December 26th. Call today, 287-5004, and relax. Fat Tracy's can handle that for you. Let's check in now with Sue over at the Cherry Mountain Fire District. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim. It's a nice frosty morning over here.
It is indeed.
I guess it's going to warm up, though, a little bit today. We're looking for a good day anyway.
Should get up to about 56 today.
Well, that'll be good. And let's see, I don't have any calls from the fire department. I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries on either one of my calendars, but we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day. And in my announcements, the Fairview Baptist Church up in beautiful Golden Valley will be having a drive-through nativity on December the 20th from 6:30 to 8, and everyone's invited. This is taking the place of their usual Christmas program, so just to be aware of that and come on out and enjoy it. I think it'll be a real interesting to see. And so far, that's the only announcement I have. It's just quiet and calm move this way, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
Hope you have one too, Sue, and stay warm, and I will talk to you again in the morning.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Cherry Mountain, nice and quiet this morning. Well, Governor Cooper announced a modified stay-at-home order for North Carolinians yesterday to help curb a surge in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations. I'll break all that down for you and come in segments on the morning show this morning. I'll give you a little bit of clearance on what all that means. It's difficult to understand sometimes, but I will clarify it, break it down as best I understand it to you coming up the next hour. Right now it's 7:29.
When it comes to calling a pest control company, people in the know call Hutchins Pest Control. With over 40 years' experience behind them, it's a known fact that Tim Hutchins and his team come ready to do a professional job for you. Licensed in both North and South Carolina and voted the best for 10 years. Hutchins Pest Control comes fully insured, honest, dependable, and on-time service. Call Hutchins Pest Control today at 287-5171 to get rid of your pest and rodent problems.
Down at 7:30, we're heading up the road, up to Shingle Hollow Fire District. Tina's on the phone with you right now to give us all the news from that department. Good morning.
Good morning. What a beautiful morning it is.
I've heard that already. Yeah, I wish I could see the morning break, but I looked out there a moment ago after they were talking about the sunrise, and it's already gone for me. But you folks that get to see it, congratulations. It's a beautiful morning.
Oh, Jim, it's just breathtaking. It's so beautiful. God's artwork is beautiful.
That's right.
So, it's cold out there, though. Heavy frost, 25 degrees. Fire department didn't have any calls. One birthday on Piney Knobs Church is Josh Hood's. Nothing on Pleasant Grove. And no activities right now.
All righty. Let's hope it stays quiet all the way through the rest of the year. But that'd be great.
Oh, and I gave the update on my nephew yesterday. He's still doing well. Y'all just continue prayers.
Good. He'll continue to improve.
Okay, well, I'll talk with you in the morning.
All right. You have a great day and be warm up there. And I'll see you. Go ahead.
Jim, I wanted to tell you one more thing. My daughter, she's 8, and she said her favorite song is she wants a hippopotamus for Christmas.
Well,
so there, I told her.
I'll see if we've got that in the animal file.
Okay, you have a wonderful day.
You too, Tina. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Want a hippopotamus for Christmas. I heard that the other day. I don't know if we have that or not, but we'll send Todd to the animal farm and see if we can find that one.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford-Ton.
All right, we're going now up to Sunshine. No, where are we going now? We're going up to Union Mills next, I believe. We get a Cali report from Brenda Cali. Brenda, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you on this wonderful, bright Wednesday morning?
I'm doing great. I just went to my phone a moment ago, and Chad Medford sent me a picture of that beautiful sunrise.
Was it not beautiful?
I tell you, that is gorgeous. Somebody ought to paint that on canvas and make a picture out of that.
That Chad's something else, ain't he?
Chad, I appreciate you doing it. I'm glad I got to get to my phone before this program was over with, so I could comment about that.
It was beautiful. I started noticing. I was sitting here at the kitchen windows. I got 2 windows at the end of the house here in the kitchen, and I thought, golly, it's going to be beautiful. And it just got brighter and brighter, redder and redder. But you know that means sailor take warning.
That's what I've heard. What does that mean? We're going to get some
bad weather.
Bad weather coming?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. We got scattered showers. All I see in the forecast right now. But
when's that?
That comes in here on Saturday night.
Well, we just never know.
But only 30%. That's right. And it could change any moment, could it?
That's right. I was just getting ready to say it changed just any time.
Yeah.
But we'll take it and run with it. It was a beautiful morning this morning, and I'm just glad that I've got eyes I can see it with.
That's right. Oh, we have a lot to be thankful for.
That's exactly right. We have a whole lot to be thankful. A lot of it we just take for granted, don't we?
We do. We do.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I've got 22 degrees on the front porch. It's very cold this morning. And I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries. I don't know of anything going on except the COVID. So I don't. When that's gone, I guess we'll get back to normal. I don't know if we'll ever be normal again.
What will we talk about when the COVID's over?
Do what?
What will we talk about when the COVID's over?
I don't know what. There'll be something to take its place.
The news media their lead story just about every day they come on is the COVID.
And I've got to where if the first thing they say is COVID, I turn it to my game show channel. I'm so tired of that I could scream.
What's your favorite game show?
Jeopardy.
Yeah.
I love, but Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. But I like to watch Common Knowledge.
Yeah.
A lot of them I know.
You like Family Feud?
Yeah, I like Paul Harvey. Yeah, I'm not Paul Harvey, Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey. Yeah.
Of course, I liked Paul Harvey too. But Steve Harvey, you can't help but like. He don't have to say a word. He can just look and make you laugh.
Yeah, sure. You're right. He can make those funny faces, and
he's a very talented man.
He's really funny.
Yeah, and to think that at one time he was living in his car.
I know it. Isn't that something?
Yeah, it just goes to show you can always do better.
Yeah, and he's a man of faith too. He's given his testimony several times about.
Oh yeah, I've heard him do that, but we just hope everybody will be safe today. Have a good day, and I guess you better go to Ellenburg and check on Luther Sweet Thing and see if he's got his coffee and his friends around jibber jabbing.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, catch you later.
Bye-bye. Brother Kelly reporting from Union Mills this morning with our report. It's 7:36. We do have 27 degrees here on this beautiful, great getting up morning in the foothills. We'll get to Ellenboro phone call right after this.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Now in Ellenboro, here we go. Luther Gilligan, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm a cool dude this morning.
I bet you are. You don't linger too
28
long.
degrees out here this morning.
You don't linger too long outside this morning, do you?
Try not to. I say I'm going to try to stay inside until the sun gets up anyway. Warm up a little bit. But we're having a good day, though. It's quiet down here, nothing going on. Well, I see the fire department had like this one about 4 o'clock. A medical call. They went back in and got back in where we want. That's all that's happening down here. Don't have anything else going on. So you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, Luther. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye.
Take care now.
Bye-bye. And it's time now for birthdays and anniversaries for this 9th day of December, December the 9th. If you can call us now at 287-3356, your birthday or your anniversary, we'll give you a big shout out and celebrate with you. 287-3356. Birthdays and anniversaries coming up next.
You can bet when Santa is checking his list and checking it twice, he's going to be doing a lot of his shopping for good ladies and gents at the Recliner Center. Sofas, love seats, rocker recliners, lift chairs. If you or someone you love is having trouble standing, try out the lift chairs. And everything in the store is 10% off. The new hours at the Recliner Center are Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 4, Saturdays, 9 to 2, and Angela will see you by appointment by calling her at 395-3562. And the Recliner Center again is giving away a new recliner. All you have to do is send us a card at WCAB, Post Office Box 511, Rutherford, North Carolina, 28139, or just bring it to us here at 191 Whiteside Road in Rutherford. And we'll have the drawing again Christmas Eve, and someone will win a recliner from the Recliner Center. The Recliner Center is located on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherford, and Merry Christmas from the Recliner Center.
There's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today while they're fresh. They're good. They're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about. Happy birthday. Well, happy birthday wishes going out this morning to Zane Rumfelt. He's 9. He's a student at Sunshine Elementary School. Chad and Angie Medford celebrating their 4th anniversary. So, Chad, congratulations and thanks for the picture. Chad and Angie Medford, 4 years anniversary today. Clinton McGinnis having a birthday, and Nathan McGinnis also celebrating on this 9th day. And Hewitt Nichols having a birthday. So happy birthday, everybody, and happy anniversary to you. Hope you have many, many more happy returns.
Tom Hoppler, in Reaching the World Next Door, describes a young African from the Watutsi tribe trying to overcome strong physical and cultural training to become a high jumper. Most high jumpers get a running start, plant their foot, and go over the bar backwards. The good ones somewhere in the 6 to 7.5 foot range. To obtain such heights, it is necessary at some point in the jump to be horizontal. However, the 7-foot Watutsi tribal young man could not bring himself to go over the bar in a horizontal mode. His tribal training for warfare emphasized the necessity of always staying in a vertical position with excellent balance. But wanting to try this new high jump routine, he walked up to the bar set at 6 foot 3 inches and started bouncing on his 2 feet. His entire body was vertical and stiff except for his feet and ankles. Then suddenly he jumped. Lifting his knees to his body, he cleared the bar at 6 foot 3 inches from a standing position and landed on his feet. Well, what he did is a feat in itself. The young man may have learned to jump higher, but he could not bring himself to stray from his years of instruction. Is there any way you have limited yourself by previous training? A big vision often forces us to find new ways to do the seemingly impossible. Sometimes it may even force us to become as drastic as going over the bar horizontally. This is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living.
Coming up next hour, I'll give you a rundown, as best I understand it, Roy Cooper's stay-at-home new order, a new modified stay-at-home order for North Carolina. Starts Friday, I believe it is. We'll give you a good rundown on that next hour, so hang around for that and get some clearance, hopefully, on what we're to do next.
100.9 FM and 590 AM, recommended by 3 out of 4 truck drivers. The 4th one? Well, he just stopped off for coffee.
Boy, you got great taste in music.
This is WCAB.
Pass it on.
This time of upheaval is causing me to look a little deeper inside myself, looking for some goodness. And this is what I've found. I'm more aware of my neighbor's well-being. I'm saying thanks to those who help keep my life as normal as possible. My mail carrier, my grocery cashier, my delivery person. I find myself caring about others instead of just looking out for myself. And oh, my goodness, does it feel good. Goodness is in you.
Pass it on.
From passiton.com.
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, that there's been a lot of press around
British regulators have issued a warning for people with a history of what they call significant allergic reactions not to take the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine after 2 people who had the shot developed issues. The 2 National Health Service staff members both had a history of allergic reactions to the extent where they needed to carry an adrenaline auto-injector with them. They were treated and are said to be recovering well. The 2 were among thousands who received the shots on day 1 of the mass vaccination program there. Tomorrow, an FDA advisory committee will meet to review the Pfizer vaccine. If it gets approval, as it's expected to do, it will begin to be distributed in this country as well. Lieutenant General Paul Ostrowski is in charge of supply and production and distribution of the government's Operation Warp Speed vaccine program. He says getting at people to take it.
We must build the trust in American people. We must make them understand that the science that went into this, that the oversight that went into this is gold standard, and that our scientists, our pharmaceutical companies here in the United States are the best ever. And we just want to make sure that everybody gets this vaccine because we got to get our lives back.
ABC News senior congressional correspondent Mary Bruce with President-elect Joe Biden's COVID plan for the first 100 days that he's in office.
He's going to be urging all Americans to wear a mask and says on the day he takes office, he will sign an order requiring them in areas where he can, so in federal buildings and on interstate travel. And he says that he will get the majority of schools reopened during that first 100 days.
The Supreme Court rejecting a last-ditch effort by Pennsylvania Republicans to toss out the state's 2.5 million mail-in ballots. Texas is suing Wisconsin, Georgia, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, trying to override the will of voters by forcing their legislatures to appoint presidential electors instead. You're listening to ABC News.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
The product's super. I've heard about Balance of Nature for some time, and I just thought I'd get involved. And so when I did, I started taking it, and I saw a difference. It kind of balanced out my blood, if you will. So my doctor was pleased with that. He said, "What are you doing? What's going on?" And I just shared. I said, "Well, I'm taking this extra thing called Balance of Nature." And he said, "That's good. That's good." So I admonish all people that have some type of health issue, try it. It really helped my numbers, and I know the product works.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FRUITS.
What will happen when the COVID vaccine is ready? Well, you've got to get people to take it. ABC's Aaron Katersky has more on firefighters and what they're trying to do here in New York City.
Getting vaccinated, a memo from the fire commissioner and chief of department said, is critical to protecting yourself, your loved ones, our FDNY family, and those we serve from COVID-19. The one-page note obtained by ABC News was sent to firefighters and EMTs after a union survey said more than half of members would not bother to get inoculated, despite being among the first offered a shot. The cover of Sunday's New York Post called New York's bravest first refusers. The union said it is encouraging the vaccine, but defending the right to make a choice. Aaron Katersky, ABC News, New York.
Proof that no one is immune to hackers. FireEye, a leading cybersecurity firm, says it has been hit, and it says several of its high-powered digital tools have been stolen. Adam Levin is co-founder of CyberScout.
So the truth is, it is inevitable that every organization at one point or another will be hacked. We only hope to be able to minimize the damage that occurs as a result of that attack.
And FireEye says it's releasing hundreds of countermeasures to the tools that were stolen. Today, we find out from NASA who the 18 astronauts will be who will be training for the next U.S. mission to the moon, including the first woman to go to the moon. This is ABC News.
Greg Kelly Reports is breaking records on Newsmax TV. President Trump was recently on, and millions tune into Newsmax every night. Greg asks the tough questions you want. Watch Greg Kelly at 7 p.m. Eastern or the rebroadcast. Newsmax is on all major cable systems and free on Roku, Zumo, YouTube, Pluto, and TVs like Samsung and LG. If your cable company doesn't carry Newsmax, call them and say you can switch if they don't carry it. Watch Newsmax today.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Hello
everyone. Happy Wednesday. This afternoon, we'll see that cloud cover slowly clear. Expect a mostly sunny sky today. However, temperatures staying chilly. Highs in the low to mid-50s. Clear sky, not as cold tonight or in the mid to upper 30s Thursday morning. Thursday afternoon, we'll see a mostly sunny sky. Temperatures much warmer with highs in the upper 50s and low 60s. The warming trend continues into Friday with highs right around the low to mid-60s. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Thank you very much, Zach. We are currently 28 degrees. Started out at 27. We bumped up one, and just a little bit when that sun finally gets behind those clouds. From behind those clouds, we'll warm up to about 56 for a daytime high today, which is not bad, and the wind's only about 6 miles per hour, so it will not be too bad. It's maybe still a little light jacket, but double bundling probably won't be necessary this afternoon. This morning, though, yep, feels good. Tonight, lows around 33. We've got sunny skies throughout most of the week. On Saturday night and early Sunday morning, there's a chance, about a 20% chance of some showers, scattered showers around the time. And again on Monday, about 20% chance throughout the day, and turns back into mostly sunny again on Tuesday. We don't look far enough ahead yet to know what Christmas is looking like, but we're hoping for some cold weather at least. No rainy conditions on Christmas. Let's hope that's going to be the case. We don't know yet, but we'll see. All right, let's see. Coming up in just a few moments, I'll give you the best understanding I have of what Governor Cooper said yesterday in terms of the next phase of what we're doing with this COVID thing. Daily Courier headlined Tuesday's edition of County 7-day positivity rate now 43.5% as of Friday. The county's overall positivity rate is 13%. That means there's a whole lot of people that don't have it and haven't had it and won't get it. Also, they're reporting the NAMI South Mountains group is collecting personal care items for homeless people. The Rutherford County-based affiliate of the National Alliance on Mental Illness is collecting personal care items for local homeless people. Because of COVID-19, officials say the assistance is needed now more than ever. Earlier in the fall, NAMI South Mountains received a $500 grant to target COVID-19 relief. According to Diane Crescenda, the executive director, she said board member Donna Matthews came up with the idea to provide backpacks to those who are homeless. The board approved the plan called the Simply Acts of Kindness backpack program in November, and they're doing some good things. So our hats off, salute NAMBI for their support in the community. Get back to some more stuff here in just a moment.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we have a number of vaccines, including the Quadvac flu immunization at no cost with most insurance plans. If you have any concerns about the flu vaccination, please call our pharmacy and ask to speak to one of our pharmacists. We also have the Tdap, pneumococcal, and shingles vaccinations available. With COVID-19 continuing, we have masks, mask lanyards, hand sanitizers, disinfectant spray, and gloves while supplies last. Seating in our fountain is still limited to 65 patrons on a first-come, first-served basis. We are continuing to offer curbside pickup for the fountain and prescription pickup. Please utilize our drive-through prescription window at the back of the store. And remember that our back entrance is still closed to the public at this time. Please check our Facebook page for any updates on over-the-counter and gift shop items. Our home medical equipment department is ready to help you with any of your CPAP needs, mobility, bathroom safety, lift chairs, and any diabetic needs to include meters, test strips, and shoes. Please call us with any questions you may have about any of our services or message us on our Facebook page. We are located at 139 East Main Street in downtown Forest City. Our phone number is 828-245-4591.
All right, as best I can understand what Governor Cooper said yesterday, Channel 13 and I have going to explain it to you as best we can. Roy Cooper announced a modified stay-at-home order for North Carolina yesterday to help curb a surge in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations. The order includes a 10 p.m. curfew. Individuals in all counties in North Carolina should stay at home between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. unless an exception applies, and many businesses must close at 10 o'clock according to the new order. The following are some questions that are being asked about what this all means. The McDowell News, McDowell County Emergency Services. Why is this order necessary now? Well, in recent weeks, North Carolina has experienced record highs in the daily COVID-19 case count, hospitalizations, and deaths. There has also been a significant and sustained increase in the percentage of positive COVID-19 tests and emergency room visits for COVID-19 associated symptoms. The measure in this order are necessary to save lives and preserve healthcare system capacity and healthcare resources for the critically ill. That's the official statement as to why this order is necessary now. This order will take effect December the 11th. That'll be Friday at 5 p.m. It is effective until January the 8th, 2021 at 5 p.m. Some of the major changes in this order. Under this order, certain businesses and facilities are ordered to close to the public between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. It's called the nighttime public closure period, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm in bed by 10 o'clock, so it won't affect me whatsoever, and I'm up at 4:30 to get out, so I guess I'm okay there. It won't affect me whatsoever, but it's these businesses that might stay open 11 or 12 o'clock that'll be affected by that. That includes restaurants, with exceptions for takeout and delivery. It includes bars, entertainment venues, parks, museums, and aquariums, certain retail establishments, and other businesses and facilities. And all individuals in North Carolina must stay at home or the place they will remain for the night between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. It's called the stay-at-home period, unless an exception applies. The sale and service of alcoholic beverages is prohibited for on-site consumption between the hours of 9 p.m. and 7 a.m. So if you're going to drink, you got to drink before 9 p.m. Events or convenings outside of the home must end by 10 p.m., and guests must leave the establishment and travel home or to the place where they will stay for the night. So in other words, those of you got to get your girlfriend home before 9 or before 10. You got to get her home before 10 now. You can't keep her out till 11, 12 o'clock. Get her home. Guests must leave the establishment, travel home, or a place where they will stay for the night. All right. The capacity limitations on certain businesses, indoor and outdoor, are limited. Other health measures implemented by previous executive orders are extended through January the 8th, 2021. What remains the same under this new order? Under this new order, the gathering limits remain at 10 individuals for indoor settings and 50 individuals for outdoor settings. The limitations on certain businesses, sanitation standards, and other public health restrictions as outlined in Phase 3 Executive Order. Guidance remain in effect. A face covering is still required in all public indoor settings if there are non-household members present, regardless of the individual's ability to maintain social distance. Face coverage continue to be required in public outdoor settings if individuals are unable to maintain 6 feet of social distance from non-household members. Let me say that again. Face coverings continue to be required in public outdoor settings if individuals are unable to maintain 6 feet of social distancing from non-household members. Retail business locations with more than 15,000 square feet of interior space must continue to have a worker at each entrance open to the public, who is responsible for enforcing the executive order's face covering and capacity limitations. In other words, you go in one of these big box stores, there must be somebody there to make sure that they don't overrun their capacity, and everybody has on a mask. Temporary nighttime public closure period. Does this order close any business completely? No, it doesn't. This order temporarily requires certain businesses to close their premises to the public from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. during the nighttime public closure period. Establishments may remain open during those hours for workers and may otherwise conduct their business and operations as long as no guests are admitted onto the premises. Establishments that are subject to this order include amusement parks and amusement transportation, bars, lounges, indoor venues and arenas, fitness and physical activity facilities, movie theaters, meeting spaces and other entertainment facilities, museums, aquariums, parks, personal care businesses, restaurants, breweries, distilleries, and wineries, and certain retail businesses. There are some exceptions to the nighttime public closure period. Retail businesses that sell groceries, medication, healthcare supplies, and fuel may remain open between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. In other words, your 24-hour convenience stores. Service at restaurants, breweries, distilleries, and wineries may continue for takeout and delivery after 10 p.m., but you can't gather in those places after 10 p.m. That's just a sort of a Reader's Digest version of what his orders meant yesterday. So, in other words, we're going to shut down after 10 o'clock, basically. Still, everybody still should wear their mask, whether you like it or not. And limitations on how many people can get together in one room. So there you go. I guess not a whole lot of change other than after the 10 o'clock curfew. So who would have thought in America that we would be under a curfew and have to wear a mask and have to limit ourselves to who we can be with and how many we can be with? Who would have thought in America we'd have to be there? I never would have thunk it. But strange things have happened in 2020, including strange things at the ballot boxes. Strange things have happened in 2020. I don't know. I vote for 2020 getting going in a hurry. 2021 coming up real soon. Got another story about a Army veteran who passed away. It's a record there, I think.
For a delicious meal every day, call on Gregory's Original. Choose from their top menu of burgers, subs, grinders, pasta dishes, fresh salads, and so much more. All dishes are prepared fresh daily. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, noon until 9 p.m. Now at Gregory's, try the family-style meals. The dining room is now open, but curbside and takeout is still available. Enjoy lunch or dinner today with your favorite meal from Gregory's. Call 287-2171, located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford's Gregory's Original.
Hello, this is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. Are you on disability? Or maybe you're on Medicare? Or maybe both? Come see me, Dwayne Hunt at Insurance Service Associates, about a Medicare Advantage product brought to you by Humana. Please give me a call, 245-5301 at Insurance Service Associates, 127 East Trade Street, Forest City.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. Hey, I went by Leela's place yesterday to visit a few minutes. I'll tell you, if you want some Christmas bargains, folks, and who doesn't, there's a new place in downtown Rutherford called Leela's Place, right across from the courthouse on Main Street. She has lots of Christmas merchandise, household items, collectibles, men's and ladies' clothing, sizes small to plus size, children's clothing sizes, preemie to size 14-16, shoes of all sizes for the entire family. They carry brand-name children's clothing called LuLaRoe and many other brand names. It's quite a place, Leela's Place. They're open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. until 5 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. That's Leela's Place, located 234 North Main Street in Rutherford. Go by and look around. You'll be surprised and amazed at the bargains you can get there. Christmas bargains at Leela's Place in Rutherford, right across from the courthouse, right next door to the hub. And for the best in laundry and dry cleaning, trust your clothes to Folks Cleaners. Professional cleaning every time. To look your best, drop them off at Rockwood Plaza's location, Forest City. Get one-day service, except that during the COVID, they're only operating on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and Saturday mornings. So if you drop them off today, you can pick them back up on Friday, but still, that's great service. And have a convenient drive-up window. You don't have to get out of your car. Look your best with clothes cleaned at Folks Cleaners in Forest City and ask about the senior discount. How about the sheriff's report coming up in just a few moments? But I talked to you a moment ago about this veteran. An Army veteran and D-Day hero, Sergeant Major Robert Blatnick, died at 100 years old. An Army veteran from Texas who landed on Omaha Beach on D-Day with 900 men under his command has died at the age of 100. Isn't that an amazing story? Sergeant Major Robert Blatnick died Saturday, according to CBS 11 Dallas. Blatnick was 93 when he returned in 2013 to Omaha Beach, stopping at the exact spot where he landed on June 6, 1944. "Oh, dear Father, thank you for having saved my life," he said as he got down on his hands and knees on the hallowed ground. He offered more prayers for those who lost their lives that day, including more than 500 of his men. On the beach, the artillery and smoke were everywhere, Blatnick said in 2009 in a write-up on the U.S. Army website. "It was chaos all around us. I didn't even see any small arms fire from the Germans, just bodies and bombs going off everywhere." Blatnick, who served under General George Patton in the 1st Infantry Division, nicknamed Big Red One, said his experience helped keep him alive. He said, "I knew that the main thing to do was to get off the beach. Some of the men wanted to dig in. When you're on the beach, the main thing to do is confront the enemy. You can't dig in during something like that. You've got to get off the beach. If you try to dig in, you're lost. So I tried to keep my men moving forward." And he lost 500 men doing that. But he survived. He and others, or a few others survived, but survived to live to be 100 to tell his story. And he passed away just a few days ago. Rest in peace, Sergeant Major Robert Blatnick. Rest in peace. Deputy Searcy was on with us. He's with the Sheriff's Department. He gave us the report this morning, and here it is.
In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office reports 138 calls for service, 17 arrests have been made, and 160 incarcerated. Regarding incident reports, we have Rutherford County Sheriff's Office reports motor vehicle accident, commercial littering, Neil Wesley Hunt Jr., Robert Brian Enriquez reports breaking and entering felony and larceny after breaking and entering. Nathan Michael McInnes of Rutherford reports larceny of motor vehicle. Logan Hoyle Travis reports dog run at large at night. And regarding arrest reports, Stephen Maurice Murray of Rutherford was charged with extradition. Julian Maurice Miller of Rutherford charged with flee to elude arrest with motor vehicle. Assault with a deadly weapon against a government official. Assault with a deadly weapon. Possession of methamphetamine. Possession of marijuana, possession of marijuana paraphernalia, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting public officer. Brandy Brianne Laughlin of Mooresboro, charged with no operator's license and allow fictitious register plate. Jonathan David Pollock of Forest City, charged with misdemeanor larceny. Andrea Newton of Forest City, charged with failure to appear on misdemeanor. Nolan Andrew Blanton of Rutherford, charged with failure to appear on misdemeanor. Brent William Cook of Rutherford, charged with violation of domestic violence protection order. And that's all we have.
Sports Update is coming up next. Following Sports Update, Word of Faith Fellowship Program.
Frosted window panes, candles gleaming inside, painted candy canes on the tree. Santa's arms
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. The ACC off to a dismal start in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. They're now just 1-5 after losses last night by Duke, UNC, and Notre Dame. The defense for the number 16 North Carolina Tar Heels slowed Iowa center Luke Garza, but the Heels' offense sputtered during the first half, and that led to their road loss to number 3 Iowa 93-80. Carolina's outscored every opponent during the first 10 minutes of the second half this season, but it's cause for concern for Roy Williams, who says his team shouldn't be falling behind by so much to start a game. They were down by as much as 13 in the first 20.
It's been a blessing and a curse both, because teams have come out and hit us right in the mouth to start with, and it's your opportunity to hit them back right in the mouth yourself. And so hopefully we'll gain some from that, but I don't know. I think during the first half, the teams have made us respect them more than us having respect before the start of the game, possibly. But again, it's who knows. It's not any great thing I say at halftime. I promise you that, because if that were the case, we would never be behind.
Now, after number 10, Duke lost 83-68 to 6th-ranked Illinois, Mike Krzyzewski was asked about playing during COVID. During a more than 5-minute uninterrupted answer, he said he was concerned about a lack of leadership in college basketball, but said he didn't want anyone to misconstrue his answers as complaining because he just lost. Here's some of the key moments from his 5-minute diatribe.
I don't think it feels right to anybody. I mean, everyone is concerned. Do I think things should be done a little bit differently? Yeah. But I know somebody will take what I'm saying tonight and make it like I'm making excuses. I just got my butt beat by a lot. We're not that good, but for the good of the game, we need to constantly look at this thing.
NFL football also in play last night. The Ravens snapped a 3-game losing skid in beating the Cowboys 34-17. This is NCN Sports.
North Carolina's voters have spoken. How can you make sense of what they said? Carolina Journal can help. Reporters and columnists look at how the elections will affect your wallets, your businesses, your safety, your children's education. Available each month as a free newspaper, every day online at carolinajournal.com. Carolina Journal, your best source for government news that affects you. Visit carolinajournal.com today.
Personal foul, driver and passenger. Failure to wear a seatbelt, $179 penalty. Avoid a penalty in life. Be a good sport. Buckle up every time you're on the road. Wearing a seatbelt saves lives. Every passenger, every seat, every time. Remember to click it or ticket. This message brought to you by the Governor's Highway Safety Program's Click It or Ticket Initiative and the North Carolina High School Athletic Association.
Other college hoops finals from last night. 5th-ranked Kansas completed the 73-72 win over number 8 Creighton. 12th-ranked Tennessee opened its schedule by grinding out a 57-56 win over Colorado. Penn State on the road, they upset number 15 Virginia Tech 77-55. Rutgers had dropped 13 straight to Syracuse before Ron Harper Jr. scored 26 to lead the 21st-ranked Scarlet Knights past the Orange 79-69. Number 22 Ohio State were 90-85 winners over the Fighting Irish in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, and Ohio State hold the top 4 spots in the college football playoff ranking for the 3rd straight week. The selection committee's second from last ranking had only a little movement in the top 10. Iowa State jumped ahead of Cincinnati for the 7th position. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Hello and happy Wednesday. This afternoon, we'll see that cloud cover slowly clear. Expect a mostly sunny sky today. However, temperatures staying chilly. Highs in the low to mid-50s. Clear sky, not as cold tonight or in the mid to upper 30s Thursday morning. Thursday afternoon, we'll see a mostly sunny sky. Temperatures much warmer with highs in the upper 50s and low 60s. The warming trend continues into Friday with highs right around the low to mid-60s. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
We are still in the freezer locker. We're at 30, but not for long. We'll be climbing up the scale to about 56 for a daytime high today. And beautiful weather here in the foothills. It's going to be another great getting up morning right here in Rutherford County and the foothills of western North Carolina. You're listening to 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB. It's time now for the Word of Faith radio program. And with the program this morning is Samuel and Alexis Santos. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. This is Samuel, and I'm here with Word of Faith. I have my wife here with me, Alexis, and we're so excited to be able to share with you a few things that God has put in both of our hearts. And we want to start about sharing what God originally had in mind for us, for humankind, when he created us. And we're going to go straight into Genesis 1. I'm going to start with verse 1. And it says, "In the beginning, God prepared, formed, fashioned, and created the heavens and the earth." Verse 2, "The earth was without form and empty, and darkness was upon the face of the very great deep." And it says that the Spirit of God was moving over the face of the waters. In verse 3, and I want you to notice this. I'm going to go through several verses of Genesis 1, but I want you to notice this. Verse 3 says, "And God said." And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Verse 4, "And God said, Let there be a firmament, the expanse of the sky, in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters below from the waters above. And God made firmament, the expanse, and separated the waters which were under the expanse from the waters which were above the expanse. And there again, it was so." Verse 9, "And God said, Let the waters under the heavens be collected into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so." Verse 11, "And God said," again, "And God said, Let the earth put forth tender vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees yielding fruit whose seed is in itself, each according to its kind upon the earth. And it was so." Verse 14, "And God said, Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate day from night, and let them be signs and tokens of God's provident care, to mark seasons, days, and years. And it was so." Verse 24, "And God said," again, "And God said, Let the earth bring forth living creatures, according to their kinds, livestock, creeping things, and wild beasts of the earth according to their kinds. And it was so." And all that leads up to verse 26. It was one of the most important things that has ever happened in the face of the earth, and it was in the heart of God. "Then God said," verse 26, "Let us," and that's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, "make mankind." And mankind, it's every single one of us. It's me here today. It's my wife, Alexis. It's every single one of you that's listening. "Let us, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, make mankind in our image." That was God's desire for us, to be like him. "In our image, according to our likeness," not physical, but a spiritual personality and a moral likeness. And and that really struck me, because that was God's intent from the beginning, for every single one of us to be like him, to have his personality, to be what he wanted us to be, just like he wanted us to be. And it says, verse 27, "And it was so. God created man in his own image. In the image and likeness of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them." And that's what God has for us. And that's what's God's desires for us today.
And God put something in each and every human being's heart, a desire to know what their purpose is on this earth. And in Ecclesiastes 3, verse 11, it says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time. He also has planted eternity in men's hearts and minds." It's a divinely implanted sense of a purpose working through the ages, which nothing under the sun except God alone can satisfy. And many times we hear people say, "What's my purpose in life?" or "Why was I born?" But this is what God said. He implanted in each one of our hearts the sense of a purpose that only God can satisfy. There's nothing on this earth, no matter what you think your dream is, what you think you might want, that might satisfy. Only God is going to satisfy that desire and longing in your heart.
That's right. And Alexa said something, and she said, you might be thinking, what is the purpose for my life, and why was I even born? And there's a verse, and I want to read that verse, and it explains it very, very simple, and it's the answer for that question. It's actually in Acts 17. I'm going to start verse 26. And he made from one common origin, one source, one blood, all nations of man to settle on the face of the earth. God did, just like he created by his mighty word the heavens and the earth, everything that we see, everything that we know, God created by his word. He says all nations of man to settle on the face of the earth, having definitely determined their allotted periods of time and the fixed boundaries of their habitation, their settlements, lands, and abodes. Verse 27. And this verse answers that question. What is my purpose in life? What is my purpose in life? Verse 27 says, so that they should seek. That's what God said. He created us so that we should seek him. And I was studying that word seek, and and there's a lot of meanings, but a couple of meanings is a desire to find, a desire to ask for God, a desire to search for God. And that's why he created us, so we can come to him, so we can seek after him, so we can find him. And he keeps going, so that they should seek God in the hope that they might feel after him and find him, although he's not far from each one of us. And that's the plan of God for our lives. And verse 28 says, for in him we live and move and we have our being. And that's our purpose in life. To come to God, to seek after God, to feel after him. And and once we do that, we start crying out to him and we start having a personal relationship with him. We talk to Jesus, he becomes our friend, and we have the best life. And and once you do that, your heart starts changing. I can tell for myself and for Alexis, every time we come to Jesus, every time we seek Jesus, our hearts start changing. And it's like says in John 3, I believe it's verse 8, he talks about the wind. In the natural, we feel the wind. We don't know where it's coming from. We don't know where it's going, but we feel the effects of the wind. And and that's why God created us, to come after him and to seek him and to have fellowship with him. And once we do that, the Holy Spirit works within our hearts. We start changing, and it's just like the wind. We don't know where it's coming from, where it's going, but we know something is different in our hearts. Daily, something is changing in us. Something is different, and we start feeling the fruits of the Spirit. We start changing, and we know we feel the love, we feel the peace, we feel the happiness, the joy, and it's like talks in Galatians 5.
And one key that Samuel said was about having fellowship with Jesus, and that is so important, because when you have fellowship with Jesus, you start feeling his feelings and his thoughts, his emotions, and his presence works in you. And in Galatians 5, verse 22, it says, but the fruit of the Holy Spirit, the work which his presence within accomplishes, is love, joy, gladness, peace, patience, and even temper, forbearance, kindness, goodness, benevolence, faithfulness, gentleness, meekness, humility, self-control, self-restraint, continence. Against such things there is no law that can bring a charge. And that's who Jesus is. Those are his characteristics, and he was our example. And we see how, because he was in constant fellowship with God, he was constantly hearing God's voice, doing God's will, and he was able to touch so many lives.
Right. And something that's, I want to point out something that Alexis read here. But the fruit of the Holy Spirit, which is the work of his presence within us. That's powerful. It's the work that we have in our hearts once we accept him and once we receive his presence within us. You can't have all these fruits of the Holy Spirit. You can't be like this. Be humble, be loving, be kind, be meek, unless you have the fruit of the Holy Spirit. You have the Holy Spirit living in you.
That's right.
And that's how Jesus was. Jesus was our greatest example. He came on the face of the earth as a man, and he fulfilled the law. He fulfilled everything that God had for him. And he touched so many lives, like she said. You know, and it's amazing because you can go through the Gospels and you can read all that Jesus did. And I mean, we won't have time to tell you everything he did and all the miracles he did. But one thing I noticed, he not only touched people's lives that were sick physically, but he also touched people's lives that were sick spiritually. And he had so much of the love of God. And I have a couple examples here, and I want to share with you. One is in Mark 1. And just prior to that, Jesus was on his way to preach somewhere. And verse 40 says, and on his way a leper man came to him. And I'm sure a lot of you know, if you have leprosy, you don't look too good. It's very contagious, and it's very easy and very, comfortable for you not to be around people like that. But Jesus was led and controlled by the Spirit of God. He had the love of God in his heart, and it says, a leper man came to him, begging him on his knees, saying to him, if you are willing, you are able to make me clean. And being moved with pity and sympathy. And that was Jesus's heart. And back to the beginning where I started talking. That's how God wants us to be. That's how God created us to be like Jesus, to be like him. And it says, and being moved with pity and sympathy, Jesus reached out his hand and touched that man. Because he had the love of God in his heart. He touched that man and said to him, I am willing, be made clean. That's the love of God, and that's the reason God created us, to be like him and just to feel after his purpose, to feel after God's will and God's love for us. And at once, the leprosy completely left him, and he was made clean by being healed. And that's the plan of God for us. If we come to Jesus, we seek him, we fellowship with him daily, continuously. We'll have that pity and sympathy and that love that Jesus had for everybody here on the earth. And then there's another example. It is in Mark 5. It talks about the demoniac. I'm going to start reading verse 1. And it says, they came to the other side of the sea. Verse 2. And as soon as he got out of the boat, there met him out of the tombs a man under the power of an unclean spirit. And that man was demon possessed. He was full of demons. And there again, he wasn't a person that people really liked to be around. People had tried so many different things to help that man, and they couldn't. Let's keep reading. It says, verse 3, this man continually lived among the tombs, and no one could subdue him anymore, even with a chain. Verse 4, for he had been bound, often with shackles for his feet and handcuffs. But the handcuffs of light chain were wrenched apart, and the shackles he rubbed and ground together and broke in pieces, and no one had strength enough to restrain or tame him. Look at the situation of this person. He was so tormented. He was troubled. Nobody could help him. He wasn't sick physically, but he was sick spiritually. Mm-hmm. And only Jesus could help him. And we'll keep reading. 5, night and day among the tombs and on the mountains he was always shrinking and screaming and beating and bruising and cutting himself with stones. And when from a distance he saw Jesus. From a distance that man saw Jesus. He ran and fell at Jesus' feet on his knees before Jesus, and he did homage. And crying out with a loud voice, he said, what have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? What is there in common between us? I solemnly implore you, by God, do not begin to torment me. For Jesus was commanding, come out of the man, you unclean spirit. And that's the purpose of God for us also. Unless we're in close fellowship with God, we won't have authority over devils. We won't have authority and the love to help other people that are sick spiritually. And it's amazing because if you keep on reading, verse 15 says, and this is the man, remember, this is the man that no one could help. Everybody around that place had tried to help this man, and they couldn't. And verse 15 says, And they came to Jesus and looked intently and searchingly at the man who had been a demoniac. And look at the difference. That man was sitting there, clothed, and he was in his right mind. The same man who had the legion of demons, and they were seized with alarm and struck with fear. The only reason Jesus could help them was because Jesus was in constant fellowship with God, with the Father, and he had the work of the Spirit done in his heart. And that's how we want to be. That has been our heart's cry. We want to be what God intended for us to be from the beginning.
That's right. And like he said, that's what God wants for our lives, and that's what we should want for our lives, is it to be in that close fellowship with Jesus, only doing what he wants us to do, only having the desire to do what he wants us to do. And in John 5:30, this scripture was the basis of Jesus' ministry, and this should be the basis of our lives as well. It says, I am able to do nothing from myself. This is Jesus speaking. Independently of my own accord, but only as I am taught by God and as I get his orders. Even as I hear, I judge, I decide as I am bidden to decide. As the voice comes to me, so I give a decision. So right there he's saying, Jesus said he couldn't do anything of himself and independently apart from God. So how much less can we do anything apart from God? Just like Samuel started out with, we were created. God is the one that had us in mind and had us in his heart to create us. And it's only him that we live for. That's the only reason why we even have breath. So we can't think that we can do anything else apart from him. It goes on to say, my judgment is right, it's just, righteous, because I do not seek or consult my own will. That's why he could say his judgments were right and what he did was righteous, because he did not seek or consult his own will. Said, I have no desire to do what is pleasing to myself, my own aim, my own purpose, but only the will and pleasure of the Father who sent me. He didn't even have a desire to do what pleased himself. And, we can think about in our everyday lives. This is the way Jesus wants us to live. So if we think of how, our schedules, what you would think our daily routine is, there should be no desire of our own. Example, it's late at night and you feel like, oh, I'm tired, I'd rather go to bed than fold the laundry. But if Jesus told you to do that, we should have no desire apart from what Jesus wants for us.
And I just want to interrupt you and say something, because, it's on the little things that the devil hardens our hearts. Because Jesus did not create us to be mean. Jesus did not create us to be hardy and just hard, And if we don't do that, if we don't cry out to Jesus, what is your will for me? On the every single step of your day, your heart's gonna get hard. And before you don't know what's the purpose for your life. And that's the assignment of the devil. That's the assignment of the devil to all of us, to get our hearts hard, to get us to drift away from that fellowship with Jesus, from being vitally united with him, like it says, I believe it's in John 15, to be vitally united with the vine, which is Jesus.
And since he mentioned that, we'll go ahead and read in John 15, starting in verse 4. It says, dwell in me. This is God speaking again. Jesus is telling us, dwell in me, and I will dwell in you. Live in me, and I will live in you. Just as no branch can bear fruit of itself without abiding in, being vitally united to the vine, neither can you bear fruit unless you abide in me. Jesus said, I am the vine, and you are the branches. Whoever lives in me, and I in him, bears much abundant fruit. However, apart from me, cut off from vital union with me, you can do nothing. So, looking at this scripture, even if we think of it in the natural, a tree growing outside, those branches on that tree, when it's connected to its source, it produces leaves, it produces fruit. But if you cut that branch off and it's laying on the ground, it's not going to produce the same fruit that it did before when it was connected. So that's the same with Jesus. When we are in constant fellowship with Jesus, have that relationship with Jesus, we're going to bear fruit. Just like we read about the fruits of the Spirit. That's what's going to be produced in our lives. But when we have our own desires and our own plans and dreams, we're cut off from God.
That's right. And that's another thing. I think that's another assignment of the devil at so many of us, is to get so busy with our schedules and what we have to do every day, and we don't consider Jesus worth the knowing, and we don't come to him, and we like I said, we drift away from our personal relationship with Jesus.
That's right.
It makes us hard. And we go after, like she's saying, we go after our dreams, whether it be college, career, fame, relationship, whatever it is, and we forget what is the purpose that God really created us.
That's right.
The purpose that he really created us was to seek after him, and it was to come after him, wanting to know him and wanting him to make himself real to us. And that's what we want, because that's the only way we're going to have peace and we're going to be satisfied in our hearts.
And it goes on to say in verse 6, if a person does not dwell in me, he is thrown out like a broken off branch and withers. Such branches are gathered up and thrown into the fire, and they are burned. And that's referring to when we're not doing the will of God, when we're cut off from God, our end is going to be hell, because we chose not to be in that vital union with Jesus. And just like I was reading, that God has planted eternity in our hearts.
Right.
And that's what eternity is. We're going to spend our eternity either in heaven or in hell. So that's why it's so important for us to have that fellowship with Jesus, to make sure everything we're doing is from Jesus and by the Spirit of God, so we don't go to hell.
Right. And that's the reason Jesus came. He came to make a way for us, so we could go before God, and so we could ask God when we need help. And he made it so easy. He made it really, really, really easy for us. All we have to do is just come to him. It's come to him. Come to him on our daily doings and everything we have to do throughout the day. Just come to him. And like it says in Romans 6, verse 6, and I know Alexis wants to read some of this too, but I'm just going to start with verse 6. We know that our old unrenewed self was nailed to the cross with him, in order that our body, which is the instrument of sin, might be made ineffective and inactive for evil, that we might no longer be slaves of sin. For when a man dies, he's freed, loose, and delivered from the power of sin among men. And that's what Jesus did for us. If we trust him, if we cry out to him, and if we consider ourselves dead to sin, that's what he does. He helps us.
And we can't do it on our own.
Right.
Jesus, that's why Jesus came to this earth. He came, he died on the cross for our sin. He broke the power of that sin nature in us that wants us to have our own desires and our own plans. He broke the power of that for us, so that made way for the Holy Spirit to come and live on the inside of us. And when the Holy Spirit is in us, he prompts us, he gives us his emotions, his desires. And going on to verse 10, it says, for by the death he died to sin, ending his relation to it once and for all. And the life that he lives, he is living to God in unbroken fellowship with him. So Jesus died, and he broke the power of that sin. He became dead to sin, and he's in unbroken fellowship with Jesus. Right. So, verse 11, even so, consider yourselves also dead to sin, and your relation to it broken, but alive to God, living in unbroken fellowship with him. So, just like Jesus died on the cross for our sins, he's in unbroken fellowship. He wanted the same for us.
That's right.
And we can believe that that the power of that sin is broken in our lives, and we can be alive to God, where our spirits are responsive to God and to His desires.
And that's our heart's cry. And there's a song we really love, and it means a lot to us, and it talks about all of this, and we would like to sing it right now.
Some consume themselves with pleasure, while others seek for wealth and fame. Some spend their lives in search of treasure, while they play their worldly game. But as for us, we should have just one desire, burning deep within our hearts, to be servants for your glory, and let our will be thrown and die. Consume us, Lord, with the fire of your Spirit. Consume us, Lord, make us more like you. Break us, Lord, and bless the broken pieces of our lives. We want to be used, Lord, by you. Love consumed you for its glory, and nailed you to a rugged cross. That's where you wrote redemption's story, and gave your life for us. And all you ask is that we hear and obey. Obey your voice and your command, so we can serve you with all our hearts. Lord, we surrender all this day. Consume us, Lord, with the fire of your Spirit. Consume us, Lord, make us more like you. Break us, Lord, and bless the broken pieces of our lives. We want to be used, Lord, by you. We want to be used, Lord, by you.
That's what Jesus wants for each one of our lives, to surrender our lives to Jesus, to give Him our lives. And when we give Him our lives and we remember why we were originally created, what God intended for us, when we keep that in our hearts and have that constant fellowship with Jesus, He makes Himself real to us. He comes, He broke the power of that sin in our lives so that we can have God's desires, God's fruit in our hearts. And that's what Jesus wants for each one of us.
And if you're thinking today, what is the purpose that I was born? Why was I born? What's the purpose for my life? I hope we brought out to you what Jesus had to say about that.
That's right.
He created every single one of us to seek after Him and to have a personal relationship with Him. So never forget, just cry out to Him. Cry out to Him wherever you are. He will meet you wherever you are. We're so grateful to be here with you today, like we said, and we hope that you go and look at our other testimonies. We're here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8:30 to 9, and we hope you have a great, great day.
More music, WCAB.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The FDA's emergency use authorization for Pfizer's COVID vaccine could come as soon as